Welcome to color lesson number 2, the color quiz. So before we get going with this, I want you to know that there is a download that says the color quiz, and this is the objectivity part of determining what your color time will be. So I would love for you to download the quiz. I'll kind of be going through it a little bit, explaining more about it and what it means. So let's get going. So before you take the quiz, I do have a few questions to ask you. And this is just to really kind of open your mind, it's a kind of a self-awareness of how you look at colors. So question number 1, just curious, this is your own self-awareness, is which photograph contains the colors that appeal to you the most? There's no right or wrong answers. It may be all three, but again, you get to decide. Question number 2. If I gave you a $5,000 shopping spree, what color time palette would you choose? And I really want you to think about this, the overall arching colors, not just, wow, I love that one color of pink, or I love that gold. It's kind of the whole array. I want you to think about it as a whole versus just one specific color. And then number 3, if you could completely redecorate your home, which color palette would most of the colors would you choose? And this could be the same answer that you gave from the other colors or the other questions, if you will, or it could be something completely different. Again, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just an awareness for you to start looking at color in a new, fresh way. So question number 4 is the color quiz. So this is a time for you to start looking objectively at your personal coloring. And as you go through these questions, I want you to look in the mirror, or if you have a hard time being objective, grab a girlfriend, grab somebody who you feel very confident that could give you the correct answers, if you will, versus just looking at your eyes and going, they're brown. Because as you can see from the color quiz, we are getting a little bit more specific versus just brown. And I want you to answer these as accurately as you can. But don't stress over this, but just be as accurate as you can, and you'll be just fine. So question number 4, which is the style quiz here, or excuse me, the color quiz. I work with so much style. I got style going on in my head. So I know this seems like whoa, you're looking at this picture, but I actually recommend you taking a picture of yourself really close up like this with your eyes, because as I just mentioned, so many times people will say, I just have brown eyes. And as you look into Nikki's eyes here, you can see some of the gold and amber. It's a little darker around the pupil. I mean, you can see a variated colors, and that goes along with blue eyes and green eyes. Maybe you have more gray. So I want you to see the colors that are in your eyes, because it really is fascinating. Then we get to your hair color. And again, be as accurate as you can. And if you're so confused because you are somebody who has done a lot of coloring with your hair, think about what was the color of your hair before you started coloring it. Or, even going back to when you were younger. And for example, you may have like, wow, I used to be kind of a strawberry blonde, or wow, I used to be a towhead, or I used to have really black hair. Go back to that original and start looking at that also. Now, the third question in this particular part is, what is your skin tone? I do know that sometimes this can be a little bit more difficult. So I gave you a couple examples here, and one is my client, Alice, and she is definitely in the ivory skin, but I wanted you to see the contrast, kind of an ivory beige, but as you can see, her skin still looks very bright and clear with that beige underneath her skin tone. And even in the background, there's like this beautiful harmony. So Alice is considered more of the warm tone. And then myself, I am considered more of the cool tone. So if it comes, and I believe I have this on the second, I'm going to kind of go through this. If you have, oh gosh, you have a hard time making that decision, what I want you to do is, as you come to the end of the quiz, we're going to, if you're very, where I'm going with this is, if you're very definitive in your eye color and your hair color, then what we're going to do is, when you have 2 out of 3, that is going to signify your color time. So if the whole skin tone is getting very confusing, then go with your hair and go with your eyes. Is your skin tone important? Absolutely. I also recommend is, as I did with these gals, is take a picture of yourself and put it on a document and look at it with a little bit more objective eyes, because sometimes just looking in the mirror, we don't see who we really are. It's hard to be objective. So mark whether you were an A, B, or C. The goal is that you are in 2 to 3 of those categories. Now, you have 2 to 3 A's, 2 to 3 B's, or 2 to 3 C's. And if you don't, I'm going to address that. So this is another technique that you can do, is take your color palette. And for example, if you're trying to decide if you're cool or if you're more warm, is take the pink tones, which are in the sunrise, which are predominantly cool, is put them underneath and decide, do I like myself in more of the pink tones? Or, as Jennifer is doing here in the picture, take the warm tones in the sunset palette and see what you like on your skin tone. So here we're draping her with a piece of fabric, but maybe you grab something, one of your favorite colors, or a color that you know you get a lot of compliments on in your closet, and drape it underneath you. And you know, I love the idea, and I'm mentioning this several times here, is getting a picture of yourself and then putting it on a document and really looking at and I'm going to go through, I'm going to give you some things that you're going to want to look for in just a second, but so that you can really view yourself objectively. So one of the things that you will see when you put your pictures, and I'm saying this on a document so that you can be very objective, or maybe it is truly just in the mirror, is when you have on the right colors, which this is so exciting, is you will start finding dark circles start diminishing. You will also see that your skin tone becomes very smooth and flawless. So, what also happens is the opposite can occur if you are wearing the wrong colors, is that you will start seeing more blotchiness. So, blotchiness, if you are wearing the right colors, starts disappearing. You're seeing your complexion is smoother. What you'll also see with the right colors, the most flat, I'm going to say the right, I don't like that word, the most flattering colors on you, you're going to start seeing the highlights in your hair. You're going to look in the mirror and you're going to go, wow, wow, look at, I mean, your hair just kind of glistens. What you're also going to see with your eyes is you're going to see them just pop. And you've probably had this experience before, is wearing certain colors and people just go, oh my gosh, you look absolutely amazing. And you almost don't even know why. So that's the exciting part of when you are wearing your most flattering colors. So I said, what happens if you can't decide? The worst case scenario is that you go into the sunlight palette. Remember, I said this at the beginning. The sunlight palette dips in to both the cool and the warm, but it is a little bit softer. What you can do too is if you decide to go into the sunlight palette, it's not to say that you can't then dip into one of the other palettes thinking, I want to have a little bit stronger color, but maybe, for example, the sunset feels too strong for you and you feel like, I really want to build my wardrobe around the sunlight. It might be, for example, you might be like, I love these sunlight colors and I also love the crossover colors. So again, it's not that you can't dip into a deeper, richer color. But remember what I said at the beginning, when you define and define yourself as one of the color times, it is going to help your wardrobe just mix and match. There's just a harmonious on the tones on how they go together. So I hope that helps. Another, if you're not sure, choose a palette that you really have an emotional tug. And I'm just going to give myself an example. Like, I love, if you know me, you've been following me as we get to know each other, I just have this love for pink. And it's it's so many different reasons. To me, it signifies passion. It signifies fun. It signifies femininity. And it lets me really express myself. Now, I do know, for example, I have a jacket that's kind of, if you will, in the sunlight, peony and powder pink. So I will sometimes dip into that. So as we get going through this, you're going to feel more confident. But one of the first decisions is to commit to one color time palette. Commit. Because once you commit, then everything starts falling into place. There's ease, there's simplicity. You stop the overwhelm and the confusion. Are these my colors or not? The beauty, when you commit, you have made a decision that these colors are bringing out your skin tone, your eye color, and your hair color. Okay, so this is something that I did. I'm going to end with this. This is Nikki, and so what I did is Nikki sent me 3 pictures of clothing that she wears and that she does love. and they were all in all three of the palettes, and you may find this. I'm going to be going into this in a little bit more depth in color lesson number 3 is defining your color time. I'm going to expand on this. And so I'm just kind of leaving this here is Nikki. There she is in the sunset. There she is in the sunlight. And there she is in the sunrise. So before we get to color lesson number 3, I am just curious. What do you think Nikki is? What do you see? What colors do you think makes her come alive? I'll see you in color lesson number 3.